Mortal Kombat! Welcome, you have reached review time with Imperial. Today's review will be Mortal Kombat The Reboot 2021. Let's get into it. So I had to get that introductory. Those of us who grew up on the video games when Mortal Kombat first came out, that was like one of the, we had Double Dragon, Ninja Gaiden, Shinobi. We had all those type games coming up. But when Mortal Kombat came in, it came with like a different like spin to it. And a lot of us got into it, and we just had like, we didn't have no real true backstory or everything. We just was playing, and we had everybody know. Once you had Street Fighter that came out, and that was cool. But when Mortal Kombat came out, it was like more grittier, like more, realistic in a sense, I could say. And everybody, like, they had finishing moves. Like, okay, after you beat your opponent down, and it'd be like, finish him. And if you knew the right buttons to press on the joystick, you can do the player's finishing move. And each player had like some unique move that they used to finish them. Now, of course, the Mortal Kombat, as the games went on, the characters got better finishing moves, and then all these other characters start coming in. And of course, you didn't even, unless you really stayed up on it, you kind of got lost. And then they came out with the Mortal Kombat movie, which was kind of cheesy, but it wasn't as cheesy as the when the Street Fighter movie came out. That was the worst. They did a Jean-Claude Van Damme played as the head person in that Street Fighter, and it just was the worst. It was too commercial, and they just fumbled the ball on that. They fumbled the ball on the Double Dragon movie too. That they fumbled the ball on that. They fumbled the ball on the Goku movie. So there's a lot of movies they messed up on. Mortal Kombat wasn't the best. It wasn't the greatest either, but it was okay. You had the Johnny Cage character, and he got to do his move and showing his arrogance and everything like that. Then they came out with Mortal Kombat Annihilation, and then that was kind of cheesier. That's when Jax and Sonya came into play in that one, and that became even more cheesier off of that one. So, and Raiden was fighting in that one. The best fight scene in the original, the Annihilation, was the reptile fight scene. So, in comes, hold on, I'm skipping son. Then a couple years back, they was showing these little snippets, and if you go on YouTube, you can watch the full snippet. It was showing different snippets, whereas if they was creating a new Mortal Kombat, and Jax was played by Michael Jai White, and it was good, man. I actually was watching those little snippets. If you get an opportunity, take a look at those snippets, and they should have fed off of that. Nevertheless, we heard about this one coming out. Trailers drawed everybody in. Say, oh man, this is gonna be like the movie of the 2021. Then we seen the trailers to Kong and Godzilla, and then it was just like, I don't know now, And so this one has finally reached, and here we go. So the storyline pretty much stays the same. I'm gonna go over some of the actors and actresses, and it could be some familiar favorites, just to get that out the way. You got Joe Taslim plays as Sub-Zero. Jessica McNamee plays as Sonya Blade. Hiroyuki Sanada plays as Scorpion. Louis Tan plays as Cole Young. Sissy Stringer plays as Melina. Ludi Lin plays as Liu Kang. Alyssa Kawa plays as Natara. Makad Brooks plays as Jax. Josh Lawson plays as Kano. Max Hong plays as Kung Lu. Shin Han plays as Chengzu. Tadanobu Asano plays as Raiden. Laura Brent plays as Allison Young. And that's pretty much the bulk of the characters. So let's get into the storyline. The storyline starts off of back in the day when Sub-Zero was coming to take over Scorpion land. And Scorpion's land with his family, Sub-Zero and his goons came through, killing everybody, killed Scorpion's wife and his son. He had a daughter that was pretty much, the wife hid underneath the cupboard in their home, so Sub-Zero didn't get to him. Scorpion comes and he's coming back to try to revenge his family after he's seen them dead. He's beating up all the guys, but he's not Scorpion yet. And he's beating up all the guys, and then him and Sub-Zero gets a one-on-one. But like I said, he's not Scorpion yet. So of course Sub-Zero bested him because he can use his Sub-Zero ice weapons and everything, kills him, and pretty much Scorpion burns away. It shoots from him. The next scene, it goes into Raiden appears out of the Thunder Realm, and Raiden gets the little girl that was hidden underneath the cupboard, and Raiden disappears. It forwards to present day as Cole Young is fighting, and he doesn't go the extra mile. He fights, and his guys he could beat, but he really don't beat them. He don't do the necessary moves that he could do to beat these guys. However, he was birthed with a dragon on him. So it really jumps into the storyline. Now, what's happening is the Mortal Kombat tournament is supposed to start back up, and Shang Tzu is pretty much cheating. He's cheating, and he wants Sub-Zero to go annihilate all the characters. So therefore, if they win the last tournament, they take control of the whole world, and all human existence will be gone. And so he's cheating. He's trying to kill all the warriors before they get a chance to even fight in the tournament. And so he's sending Sub-Zero out to kill all the fighters. So of course Sub-Zero is coming to Earth. When he comes to Earth, Sonya Blade and Jax is trying to find the Earth realm fighters to warn them and try to help protect them. So Jax sees Cole Young sees him basically trying to befriend him, but then by the time Sub-Zero hit, he just told him jump in the car. And on their way, jump into the car. Sub-Zero tracks him down, cuts him off in the car. He tells Cole Young, go to this particular location, ask for Sonya Blade or whatever, and get out of here and help your family. So it shows Jax with the gun trying to shoot at Sub-Zero, and then he finds Sub-Zero in this building or whatever that Sub-Zero then made into ice. Of course, he tried to fight Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero beat him down. And then Sub-Zero took his arms and froze both his arms and then broke them off and just dropped them. So we all knew Jax had these bionic arms or whatever. We didn't really know where it came from. So this is how that scary comes. So at this time, Liu Kang, he pretty much tells his, not Luke, I said Liu Kang, damn, my bad. Cole Young tells his family members, look, I gotta go see what's up, y'all stay here. He goes to the port, he finds Sonya Blade and tell her, what happened with Jax, and she's worried. But then you look into a room, the Kano is there, and Kano is tied down, and she's pretty much telling her, tell the story on how he got his dragon. So he killed somebody, and the dragon that was in that person jumped into him. So he called himself like the Black Dragon. And so, like I said, they're not playing fair with the tournament, and so they're cheating. So Shang Tsung sent Reptile out to go finish the deal, and so the Reptile shows where Sonya Blade and Kano and Cole Young is, and the slime of the Reptile, Kano was able to use to free him. And so they all start fighting the Reptile, and Kano ended up getting the win and digged in a reptile's heart. Took his heart out, and he died, of course. So they pretty much said, hey, we need to get to this Shao temple to speak with the raiding character that everybody keeps hearing about, and there's a tournament coming up. So Sonya and Jax already knew about this tournament or anything that's coming up. So of course Kano is making quirky, you can tell he's a dickhead from jump, and he's making his comments the whole time. And then finally Sonya said, I'll pay you $3 million, and he agreed to take him. So he got somebody with a plane, and they took him, jumped out of the plane. They end up in the area of trying to get to the Shaolin Temple where Raiden was. So meanwhile, Shang Tsung is assembling his troops, saying, listen, we need to get them while they're weak. He want to go get them while they're at the temple. Now, he knows he can't interfere. He's not supposed to be interfering with this. He's supposed to let the tournament happen, but he's not playing fair. So they get to, as their way to the temple, it shows Sonya Blade and Kano fighting. And Sonya Blade bested him or whatever, but she don't got it in him to kill him rather. So as they're walking, they see somebody walking in a distance. Right off the bat, all of us that know about Mortal Kombat, we already see that that's Liu Kang. So Liu Kang Raiden has been training him at the temple for years. So he shows up and basically told him that y'all came, and he's gonna show him the rest of the way. He takes him to the temple, and then Raiden pretty much comes up, and as Liu Kang is taking them through the temple, you can see the different warriors that have been fighting over the years. And Raiden pretty much, he's able to look at each character. First off, Sonya wasn't a chosen one, so he's looking at her like, you can't even fight in the tournament or whatever. Then he looks at Kano pretty much like, you worthless because you don't even, you don't stand for nothing, and you got a bad perspective of yourself. Then he looks at Cole Young pretty much saying, it's something there but you don't believe, you don't dig deep enough. So he pretty much like, all I got really is Liu Kang, and then Liu Kang's cousin, Kal Lo or whatever. And so you don't meet Kal Lo right away. You don't know who Kong Lo, you don't know who he is right yet. They doesn't show him. So Sonya sees Jax on a slab, and the monks and the shallow monk are trying to repair him. They were just like, you need to let them rest and let them do what they do or whatever. So he's saying that y'all all got like an inner, I don't know what they call it, but it's like your inner chi. It's another word that they use. Basically it's your inner chi, and you gotta embrace your power. So what happened was all of them is trying to, fight until their power come up. So this is where Kong Lo came in, and he comes in, he got a spinning hat, and he's rumbling, and he's fighting Kano. Well, no, he's fighting Cole Young. Of course he's beating Cole Young. Cut him with the hat that's pretty much like a blade or whatever. And, Cole Young is not inspired pretty much, and he pretty much, Raiden was like, kind of like, you worthless in a sense, and then open up a portal to send him back home. He goes home. So when they're going to make Shang Tsung and his crew, Sub-Zero and all them, is get ready to make their return, go to the temple. He pretty much embraces, with all of us seeing that was in the part one, the big, what do they call the guy with the 4 arms, the big 4-arm guy, whatever they call him, man. I can't think of his name right now. Nevertheless, him till I think of his name. He comes and shows up, and then Shang Tsung is pretty much like, yeah, we're glad you're gonna join the party. So he sends him out to go kill Cole Young back in the Earth realm. So Cole Young is home with his family, and he hears a noise, and out in the shed, uh, comes the big thing with the forearms. Now and he's fighting them, and now the big thing with the forearms, monster, villain being, is about to kill Cole Young's family, and that triggers his inner chi, and his body armor started to come out. And so what happens is he's a descendant of Scorpion, and he's been having visions of Scorpion saying, "Release me," or whatever. So Raiden can't enter the tournament. He's a god being, so it'd be against the little realm rules. Even though Shang Tsung is going against the rules, Raiden is really not. So he indirectly got to go against the rules. So he gave Cole Young the dagger from his descendant, the Scorpion, or whatever. And pretty much this Scorpion is in hell. He needs to be released. So he's been in hell wanting to get back revenge. Now there's a cartoon animated series, not series, movie on HBO Max called Scorpion's Revenge. Now it basically shows everything I'm going over in this movie, but it really comes from the lenses of the Scorpion. So you can see his backstory and what happened when he was in hell and how he get back to Earth and all that. So that's kind of it's a dope cartoon, and it's gritty. They show everything, blood, heads chopped off, all that stuff. So nevertheless, Cole Young is fighting this being back in the realm of the Mortal Kombat thing. They show up to the temple and they're fighting all the people. So everybody's getting their moves in. Sonya get her behind kick or whatever. So she get her behind kick, and they basically get bested. Even Liu Kang was having problems with Shang Tzu's warriors, and so Sonya pretty much go to Jax like he comes out of his coma thing, but he got these little bionic arms, and they look real little tiny and small, and they got their butts kicked, and Kano was kind of like making fun of Jax's little bionic arms, and then Kung Lao was pretty much getting at Kano because he hasn't reached his inner chi either. So he kept talking smack to him, and then Kano was able to tap into his inner chi by being upset, and that's where he got the beam light in his eye or whatever. So he's like, "Oh, I got a laser. I'm cool." So he's like the comic relief. He's making little quirky jokes and everything. So when they get back, Sun Tzu gets his warriors back. They say, because Raiden came and picked the protection of the thunder over the temple, basically saying, y'all need to wait till the tournament. You can't hurt my people or whatever. So after they do that, Sun Tzu, one of his goons, knows Kano, and basically Kano, if you bribe him, he'll turn on the crew. So he goes and basically tells Kano what to do. Kano uses his laser to break down the force beam, the thunder beam. So after he did that, they came back to the temple. And when they came back to the temple, they fought again. This time, when they fought, Sonya Blade had like a big rock on her. And then Jax was trying to help her, asking everybody to help her. And she ain't nobody was there. So he was able to lift the big rock off of her, which then triggered his bionic arms to become like massive, and that was him grabbing his inner chi, and now his arms are like, strong and just could destroy things. So that other character that was fighting Cole Young is Go-Ru. So when he's fighting Go-Ru, he back in the Earth realm, he fights Go-Ru and kills Go-Ru, slices him up, chops his head off, chops his arms off, one of his arms off, and then Raiden seen that. Well, he could sense it, and he made a portal for Cole Young to come back into where they were. And so when he showed back up, he was, had his suit and everything on, and Raiden pretty much thanked Shang Tzu for sending his guy out and allowing his guy to tap into his energy. So now he was full strength, and so Shang Tzu made all his goons disappear or whatever. So in the process, after he did all that, he did kill Kung Lao. He took his soul. Shang Tzu took his soul or whatever. So Liu Kang was pretty upset with that. Like, that was his cousin or whatever. So they got in the huddle, pretty much talked about what they need to do. And they said, we can't fight them together. We got to fight them in separate spots. And then as they were saying where they was going to fight them in separate spots, they said, we get Sub-Zero last. So they all got separated in separate spots. And Jax won a rematch with one of their big dudes that they had. And of course, Jax ended up beating him, squashing his head. You had Sonya Blade. She wanted her revenge with Kano. So she ended up besting. She killed Kano. And what happened is, the same way he got his powers, she got hers. Where he killed somebody and the dragon transferred. So when Sonya Blade killed him, the dragon transferred into her. She was able to tap into her chi easy. So when she showed back up, one of the villains was fighting what's his name? Cole Young, and she was able to use her like she could shoot out like a purple source and fried through the villain. That villain was gone, and then you had who I'm thinking of now, Liu Kang. Liu Kang was just one of the villains. He used his he ended up in like a lake of oil or something like that. Liu Kang used his fire and lit the lake on fire, and the dragon out of the fire came down and fried the dude. So that was cool scene right there. Meanwhile, Sub-Zero went back to the Earth realm and grabbed Cole Young's family, and then he came back and showed Cole Young the little trinket that Cole Young's daughter had, and then he dipped back into the black magic, and then Cole Young chased after him. So the trailer y'all see where Sub-Zero is in Scorpion fight, this is where that scene comes in. And then Cole Young, he sees his daughter and his wife frozen, and so he's fighting Sub-Zero, and he uses the dagger that Raiden gave him and stabbed Sub-Zero. What that did was it initiated Scorpion to come back to the outer world. But you don't know that at the time. You see Sub-Zero best Cole Young, and then he's already hit try to like the finishing blow to Cole Young, and the Scorpion dagger with the chain comes in his arm, and then you hear, "Get over here." So I get this is, we know because of the corona, this ain't in a theater, but I know if this was in a theater scene, all the Mortal Kombat kids and when that scene would have happened, everybody would be like, yeah, whatever. So this was this just bring everybody back that's been following the whole Mortal Kombat series, over the years or whatever. So he'd be like, "Get over here," and then they battle and they getting it on, and he's talking to him like, I've been waiting all these years for their revenge, and so he's fighting. Meanwhile, Cole Young is trying to break the ice of his family or whatever. So Sub-Zero is battling. So this is probably basically the scene. That's why you see the poster of Scorpion on the left, Sub-Zero on the right. This is the anticipation. This is basically the best scene of the whole movie. They fight and battling. Then Cole Young get involved. So it's Cole Young and Scorpion both fighting Sub-Zero together. And so they end up like in a cage where like MMA cage, and he Sub-Zero shuts the door, and they're fighting, getting it on. And what happens is Sub-Zero sends a block of ice and it freezes Scorpion. And so Scorpion was able to break one of his arms out and sent the fire round that basically heated up Cole Young's family. And so, like I said, Cole Young is a descendant of Scorpion. So he bested he bested Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero was pretty much threw his mask off, and he was about to, they double teamed him, and they about to kill him. And then Scorpion said, basically, leave him to me. And then at that time, Cole Young went to go get his family or whatever. And so Scorpion, his finishing move was he take his mask off, and his skeleton come out and breathe fire on his opponent. So that's what he did. He took his mask off and he breathed fire on Sub-Zero. But pretty much Sub-Zero just turned and like he was burnt, but he dropped. So you kind of think like he's not dead, especially they ain't chop his head off or nothing like that. And so after they all regroup, Shang Tsung came through and basically said, we gonna fight again. Next time I'm coming with an army. He took his crew and left. Raiden pretty much said, we won today, but it's going to be more battles in the future, and we got to get more fighters. And so, with two things that people were automatically noticed, where's Johnny Cage? So, basically, Raiden was saying, hey, we need to recruit new fighters, more fighters or whatever. So, it shows Cole Young pretty much telling his old employment, hey, I'm no longer working here. I'm going to go to Hollywood. And then when he walks by, you see the picture of Johnny Cage or whatever. So like I said, they're going to recruit more fighters. So that's interesting because Johnny Cage was like a fan favorite because around that time, Van Damme was, to us, Johnny Cage was like a Van Damme type of character. So when that movie came out, we all wanted to see really Van Damme play that character or whatever. So he was a fan favorite. But for him not to be in the movie was like, yo, what are y'all doing? So then they added that part at the end and say, okay, in the next one, he'll be in the next one. And one other thing we didn't see, Scorpion's daughter that they hid and that Raiden took, he said pretty much that he raised her and he hid her away. So you never got to see her throughout the movie as an adult or whatever. She don't even, so you got to see who that, I think that's going to be Katana. I think that's who Katana's going to be or whatever. But nevertheless, so that's leaving the open round for part 2. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Out of my 4-star rating system, I'm going to give this movie a 3 out of 4 stars. Because it was missing something. I really couldn't pinpoint what is missing. It's missing something. It was moments where it was like, this ain't as good as like where I want to give it 4 out of 4 stars. So I guarantee you, when you look at the critics, they're going to pinpoint where it failed at. Maybe it's the storyline. The storyline fell somewhere with the storyline or whatever, but how things got pieced together, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever, because they focused on like Cole Young. I didn't even know who he was. He must have been a character that popped up in one of those other games when I stopped being interested in Mortal Kombat. So, nevertheless, 3 out of 4 stars. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment. Till next time.